I just wanted to re-examine my Robinhood account and talk about what it's done in the past couple months. Now, the last thing I would have thought to take down the bull would have been a virus, but here we are. I'm currently unemployed for probably about a month or so. They said 2 weeks last I heard or read, but I'm sure it's going to end up being like a month or two. I work in the auto industry, and basically everything shut down besides stuff that's needed, goods and services that is absolutely necessary for society or this society. Well, let's dive into some numbers here. The past month, my account has lost $26,356.88. That's a negative 24.99%. It's currently at $79,110.16. Compare this to the S&P 500. The past month, the S&P 500 has gone down 32.51%. So I've done better. And I want to take a look at my contrarian picks that I did a while ago. This portfolio I've been making, in the past 4 years, I've been putting money into it. So this is like a project of 4 years, I guess, maybe 3.5. But my Micron was a value play. I bought it when it had a PE of 3, while all the other tech companies had around PEs of 30s, maybe even slightly more, slightly less, depending which stock and what time. And currently my Micron position is still at plus 6% for a total return. So that is one of the few stocks that has not gone down. If you look at most of my portfolio and a lot of other people's portfolios, depending when they bought them, if you bought Google 20 years ago, you're probably not going to be at a negative or, a total loss of some sort. I mean, your Google shares would be down, but they probably won't be in the negative for a total loss of whatever it may be, just because the simple fact is that you bought it so long ago, right? But someone who bought Google within the past 4 or 5 years, there's very small chance that it's going to still be positive, if any chance at all. Another value stock I did was BGS. I can't remember, but I might have recommended it on my other video when I was looking at this portfolio. It was one of those value stocks, depending how you define value, I guess, but it was a stock I bought, I'm assuming, within the past year. I've just been buying up shares. And at one point, it was at a negative 28%. And currently, it's at 8.81%. So it's kind of gone up. It's still negative 8.81%. But within the past couple months, it's gone up. It went up 27.59% within the past month, while the rest of the market has collapsed 30%, if not more, or markets. My marijuana stocks have all gone down. Those were considered growth stocks 5, 10 years ago, even 3 months ago. Now all the focus is off, legalizing marijuana and trade war, and it's more on this virus that is going around and tearing up Italy. Italy is having a terrible time over there. I mean, some of the articles I've been reading online, I don't know if that's just the media trying to scare people, but I'm pretty sure from what it looks like it's a pretty bad virus. It looks like it's basically like the Spanish flu. I don't want to call it, but it seems like it's going to be like the Spanish flu, killing a lot of people, unfortunately. And you can't be certain with these empirical numbers. The numbers are never perfect. It's still a human thing. I mean, it's data. It's a good guess, but it's not perfect data. That's what people got to understand about empirical data, is usually it's not perfect. I guess it's better than none, if you want to consider that scientific, but economics can be a little more art than science type scenarios. And another group of stocks I bought a while back would have been bank stocks, which have also not done good in the past couple months. Bank stocks usually do go down in bear markets. They've always kind of been that way, just due to the fact that people can pull money out of the bank and make it illiquid. It's callable debt is what it is. There's some investors that won't even mess with banks, especially way back in the day when banks were really shaky. Banks have more support now because, the government and the banking system kind of seem more friendly with each other, if that's the right word or the word you want to accept. A couple other stocks I was looking at was my BOMN, Boston Omaha. It was a small growth stock. Right now, I currently have a 22.12% for a total loss, but I still think it's going to be a good company. It's a real estate, insurance kind of company that also, a lot of that real estate that they own is for advertising. They have a bunch of billboards. So, a billboard real estate insurance company. The guy is actually nephew to Warren Buffett. That's some of the reason why people got drawn into that stock. I was just buying it for more of the insurance type ideas. I like insurance companies. I have BOMN, Markel, Berkshire Hathaway, and I have been planning or at least thinking about adding more insurance companies to my portfolio. Just the idea of the float with insurance is nice. I was looking at my dividends that I get, and man, those have definitely been a blessing in this market. Because right now I'm living off of dividends and unemployment. Dividends have come in really, really handy for me, especially, in this kind of times that are totally uncertain. This could go on longer than a week. It could be 2 months, could be 3 months. They said 2 weeks for right now, but so I got, I don't know, 10 days left of this quarantine stuff as of right now. Usually when people think of dividend stocks, they think of old people, but I guess you can also think of young, unemployed, bad times. That can come to mind. So I don't regret buying those dividend stocks now. I was for a while kind of thinking to myself, man, I really made a mistake when I bought all those dividends. I should have bought growth because I'm so youthful, but they're okay now, so it's not that much of a blunder. Then for the last industries I wanted to look at that is in this portfolio was my tech stocks. My Google was down 10%. Apple was still up 34%. I bought Apple at such a good price that I think we got a little more ways to go before it's in the negatives for me for a total return. My Facebook's down almost 10%, Alibaba 5%, and my Twitter 26%. Now, if I had an extra 5 grand, I don't at the moment. I unfortunately had some car problems, got it fixed, and then hit a deer, and then got that done, got that fixed, and then put 3 grand into an IRA, and then the next month the market collapsed. So terrible timing, but it's life. It is what it is. But if I had an extra 5 grand, I would buy Twitter, or I'd buy a bank, one of the bank stocks, and then I also would consider a defensive stock. But I have enough defensive stocks within my portfolios, especially my other one. This portfolio, the Robinhood account, doesn't have as much defensive stocks as I would like, I suppose. So maybe I would still add more Twitter just because in my other portfolios I'm a little more safe than in this one, if you consider those super safe kind of stocks. Sometimes those defensive stocks have a lot of debt, which kind of, counteracts the effect of it being safe. And then another thing I thought was surprising that I was looking into was a pharmaceutical ETF. It's down 29%. I was assuming it would be up just because my Gilead Science stock's up, then my Biogen is up. I'm not sure what all the other bigger pharmaceutical companies are doing, but you would think, especially with the idea that potentially one of these pharmaceutical companies could stop the coronavirus, you'd think that those would be kind of hot stocks in this market, with what's going on with the news and stuff in the world. Now, I think that we're going to eventually go into a depression or a great recession. We're already at a recession right now. Unemployment's bad, stock market's crashed. So we're definitely at a recession at this point. The only thing that we're missing would be a lot of homeless people and people losing their houses. That would definitely throw us to something similar like the Great Recession we had 10 years ago. Now, for the government, I don't think they're going to help us much. I think they're going to try, but it's probably going to fail. I see the government as like a drunk referee. So imagine a drunk referee at an NFL game. That's how I view the government. There's just too much, deadlocks within the government for them to move in a decisive manner. I mean, there's pros to that because it's less tyrannical, but when you have that many deadlocks, it just looks like a tyrant on drugs, a drunk tyrant. Well, if you guys like my video, please like and subscribe.